Bonjour, guys. This is the French guy representing Voyage Francaise. Thank you, guys, for following my YouTube videos, for all those that have been following, and even for those that have been watching, and especially those that have been subscribing as well. I really do appreciate that. And please, I'll just let you know that there are so many uploads more that are yet to come. I do not want to limit the French lessons that I teach just for someone who is starting French, because I've actually been receiving questions that relate to passing French exams. But some of the questions that I've been getting specifically relate to passing the DELF A1 exam, because already we are in the month of May, and exams are just around the corner, especially for those that are planning to write DELF. DELF, which is Diplôme d'études en langue française, which actually translates to the diploma in French language studies. This is the same French course that I actually teach, and it does have levels. For those that may not be familiar with it, basically DELF follows certain levels, whereby A1 is the level for those who are beginners. Most of the videos that I've done so far relate to A1 for someone who's actually beginning. So your first level is A1, which then goes to higher levels, which is A2, going on to B1, B2, and C1 and C2. But for this specific video, guys, I want to speak concerning a certain a strategy, or rather strategies that assist an individual to pass the A1 exam. Now, the A1 exam, like any other language exam, it does have sections. And one of the main sections, or a section that most people actually face difficulty with, is the Comprehension d'oral, which is the oral comprehension. Now, this part of the exam relates to listening to different French audios, being given time to listen to them, and also time to respond. So most of the time for DELF, right? Usually for DELF A1, for the Comprehension d'oral section of the exam, you usually are given most probably 3 to 4 very short French audios that you have to listen to, and then respond to the questions that follow afterwards. So the strategies that I would like to speak for this specific upload relate to how to pass this exam, this section of the exam. So the first strategy that I'm going to speak to you about concerns to time management. How do I manage my time when I am listening to a French audio? Also, in respect of the time which is given when you are listening to the audios, which is the time given to actually read the questions, time given in between the two opportunities that you have to listen to the same audio, and as you get to respond as well. So the first strategy I want to speak about is, how do I manage my time when I am doing the Comprehension d'oral? The main instruction that you get when you're writing DELF A1, especially for the Comprehension d'oral, is that there are specific time slots that you're given before listening to the audio, because for the same audio, you get the opportunity to listen to the audio twice. So you have a certain time that you're given, a time frame that you have before listening to the audio. Now, usually this time, I would like to use the example of 30 seconds. Usually, let's say you're given 30 seconds before listening to the French audio. You're given 30 seconds, which is given for you to read the questions first. So you have your 30 seconds first for reading the question. You have the 30 seconds for reading the questions. You have time given to listen to the French audio. You have another 30 seconds of pause, right? And then you have a second opportunity to listen to the same French audio. And then afterwards, you're then given time again to then get to respond and assess the audio according to what you have heard. So the first strategy that I'm speaking about here is concerning how do I manage my time wisely, so that I'm able to capture the information that I need from the audio and then apply it when responding to the questions. So the first thing that I do encourage all of my students when we are revising the A1 Comprehension d'oral section is this. As you read through the questions before listening to the audio, use the time wisely to get to understand the question. That's the first and foremost thing that you have to do. You have to understand the question. You also have the privilege of asking if you do want to understand the question a bit more clearly. Let's say there are one or two words that you might not fully understand. You have the opportunity to be able to ask what a certain French word means that you might not be too familiar with. But that's the most important thing that you have to do when listening, just before listening, rather, to the French audio for the Comprehension d'oral. Get to understand the need of the question. Now, the information that you get, or what you get to understand from the questions, is the same information that you then focus on when you're listening to the audio. Now, once you start listening to the audio, take note, or if you do have a piece of paper, take note and just jot down some of the main pieces of information that rotate around the questions that you have just read. Because one of the main weaknesses or the challenges that people do is that when they listen to the audio, they try to capture all the information, which is almost impossible considering the time that you're given to listen and to understand. So the first and foremost thing is that when you're now listening to the audio, capture every piece of information that rotates around the question. So by the time the first listening opportunity has passed and you have about 30 seconds of looking back into your questions and even responding, if you have answered the question, if you have understood the questions, and if you have clearly understood them, you can then begin to maybe jot down possible options of what the correct answer may be in the scenario of the question being multi-choice. And then, when you're now listening to the audio the second time, do your best again to try to capture information that is relating to the questions. This will actually assist you to manage your time so that you don't focus too much on unnecessary information, because most of the audio usually relates to the question itself. But for you to be able to balance the information you're getting and what you need to write, you have to focus around what the question is actually asking. Now, by the time you've probably listened to the same audio twice, and when you're now given your final time to assess and to respond to the questions, you will actually see that you will have managed to answer the questions even before the time has ended. So the first and foremost strategy in passing the comprehension d'oral is to understand your questions. And once you've already understood your questions, that is the most crucial part that will actually allow you to pass the comprehension d'oral part. So even for the 3 to 4 different audios that you're going to listen to for this section of the exam, take the first 30 seconds that you have to understand the questions as clear as you can. If you need to ask, do ask, so that in the scenario that you have a few words that you may not be understanding, you then get to clearly understand the questions. And then as you listen to the audio, both in the first and second opportunity of the same audio, focus the information that you're listening to according to the questions that you will have been given. And then once you have done that, I'm positive that you are able to do excellent in the comprehension d'oral. Another thing that I actually do that helps me not to panic a lot or not to overthink is that as I listen, I definitely take a piece of paper and I write down the most crucial information that I get, which is as close as possible to the questions. Now, this jotting down will actually definitely assist you to understand the audio as well and to apply your responses according to what you have heard and according to what the question is asking. So yes, I do hope you're going to benefit from this audio, from this upload actually, and that the information that you get, you're then able to apply it to pass the comprehension d'oral. So please stay watch for my coming uploads, which are also going to focus upon passing other sections of the DELF A1 exam. Merci beaucoup.